Welcoming Dr. Ivan Holmes.
I appreciate the opportunity to be able to speak with you for about 10 minutes. I would really like to have about 20 minutes, and it's not to tell you how to vote for me. I'm not going to be speaking to you today, actually, about me, but I'm going to be speaking about some issues that I feel like are really important. Somebody told me outside, well, you better say a little bit about yourself, or they're sure not going to vote for you. I graduated from Emmett High School, had a couple of degrees from OSU, doctorate from TU. I got started in the political arena at a fairly early age as a young teacher. I'm so old that I helped Bourne when he ran for governor in the Old Grove in Arkansas. We got the Old Guard, and I learned a lot in that first campaign because when he first started to run against Hall and then McSpadden and then Imhoff, no one said he could win. He had no name identification, and we were all upset because he had no name identification. And he said, it's great. If I had name identification, half of them wouldn't like me and I'd be in trouble, but no one knows me, so I can sell myself. So I guess there is an advantage to being not known. But I got into this campaign late, and I wasn't going to run because I am retired. And I live on my teacher retirement, my Social Security, and I wasn't going to run. But I do have a sister that taught for 40 years, 3 nieces teaching now, and I did teach for 40 years. And back in the days when I was teaching, there was one teachers group, OEA. Phillips was the head of that, and he was a master at winning elections for people that believed in education. And I'll never forget, as a young kid, walking into his office with Bourne, and he said, how many votes do I have to get you to beat Imhoff because you're a teacher and an educator and we want you elected? And he said, here's how many votes I can get you. He said, I can get you teachers, I can get you school board members, I can get you retired teachers, I can get you bus drivers, I can get you cafeteria workers. Here's the number that we had. Now, how many more votes do we have to have? And we went back and Sven Holmes, who's not kin to me, in fact I wish he was, because he's a federal judge and a lot smarter than I am, figured out that number. And we went back and we said 8. 8 people you have to take with you. Boy, he said, 8, that's a lot of people. He said, surely, no, all of our people out there have 8 friends, 8 people that they know, they live by, they go to church with, they whatever, drink with, play golf with. And he said, I would have done it. And I'm just telling you that Bourne would have never been governor. It had been for the OEA and the educators because he went out and he got those votes. Now I have a little card here that's on the table, and I hope you'll pick it up. Not, again, to vote for me, but what it says here. Number 1, return control of education back to educators. Educators have got to control our system. You pick it up. I have personally visited, since I started this team, 376 superintendents in their office. I've driven thousands of miles. And I'm telling you, I'm going to write a book on this. I am a journalist. And I'm going to write a book on this because it's frightening. I got out there to find out for myself if it was as bad as it is. A third of our small schools are going to be consolidated. It's called consolidation by economics. They're driving buses. They're picking up trash. They're selling tickets to ball games. They're doing 5 jobs out there trying to stay alive. And all of this is orchestrated by ALEC and by the charter school movement. And I'm just telling you, I was a history major as well as a journalism major. And if you'll think back, and I don't want this to be misunderstood, but Hitler took over Germany by closing down public schools with private schools, no rules and regulations. And that's where we're headed, people. We're headed into this direction about the school. Now, we had a big victory the other day by keeping that one vote out. But that's just the start. If you'll get on ALEC and you'll look on there, you'll know it was started by millionaires. The A to F things, the complete bars, they planned it that way. The current superintendent is a charter school person. She was put there by ALEC to destroy the system. So we've got to get education back in charge of you people. I wrote an article 10 years ago on master teaching. Master teaching is what education is all about. It's a teacher in a classroom. It's simple. And teaching kids to think with a test? I don't believe so. A teacher teaches students to think by asking questions. And this third grade reading deal is just completely crazy. We're going to teach kids to read in the first grade. But you know what? We're going to have the resources. We can't be last in cut. You know? $200 million lottery money. I've been asked that 1 million times. People don't know that. 82% of people in Oklahoma want public education to be funded #1. But they're not doing it. I was in a meeting the other day in Duncan with 15 superintendents talking to their legislatures for an hour and a half. And they weren't listening. And I said, why don't you guys got in your car and do like I do? Drive out there and talk to these schools. You know, I am the first educator that's been in these schools in 30 years. That's what all of them have told me. That's pretty sad. That superintendent should have been in their office the first 6 months trying to learn something rather than being adversarial. Now, this loop that I have, it's not a gimmick. There's sense to it. Because at the top of the loop, you've got parents and students. Here you've got your master teacher. Here you've got your administrators, and here you got the superintendent's office. And if you're working together and communicating, not adversarial, then kids win. And I'm going to be honest, I didn't come up with this loop or a gimmick. I just came up to explain that, and Gordon said, well, where is your broom? And I said, well, you took that. I can't use a broom. And he said, well, you got a loop there. And I thought, yeah, I'll just use a loop instead of a broom. But the point is, we've got to work together. Now, the other thing that I do, now you can run out of time. I want to do it before I run out of time. In my drill, people, there's a reason for that. And when I held this up, and I asked, what is it? She said, well, it's a dentist drill. I'm a dentist. Alfalfa, Oklahoma, Cherokee County. So she never came by with. She came to one debate. And when that was over with, she's never been to another. And I said, well, you know what a drill is because you're a dentist. I'm an educator, taught 40 years. So, as a dentist, you can be an educator. As an educator, I can be a dentist. I'll drill your teeth for nothing. The back of your teeth. You got to sign a disclaimer, because I'm not going to be responsible for my dental work. You're not responsible for what you've done in education, are you? Today was there's a plan, and every superintendent, I'm giving them a number, and I'm going to finish listing the rest of them. There are 6 groups here, and we've got to combine forces on all 6 of them. There's OEA and the teachers, Crawford and the school administrator, which is a great group and sending stuff every day. The OSSBA, school boards, the OASBO, school business profession, OROS, rural schools, PTA and PLAC, parents, and retired teachers. Now, if every one of you people in this room will set a quota, and we're going to give, I'm going to give every superintendent a quota. People, I don't care whether you vote for me, but you better do 2 things. You better educate yourself and figure out who the people who are running that are going to do this. Everybody said, well, how are you going to get the money if you're elected superintendent? I said, I'll tell you how I'm going to do it. I'm going to be out in the 77 counties talking to everybody about us not being funded. And I'm going to call in these legislators and say, either you vote public education #1, what the people want, or we're going to run somebody against you. People, that's the only way it's going to happen. They're not going to listen to you. This job, and I really, as Bourne says, you're crazy. You need to be on a cruise ship, and I'm trying to clean up this mess. He's right. It's a mess. But I guarantee you, one standardized test is what they tell me. Every superintendent, one standardized test. Save millions. Don't send it out of state. And testing, I made the statement if I was in third grade, I couldn't pass that math test. And the Oklahoman ran it into him and says, why would you vote for Dr. Holmes? He can't get out of the third grade. But I couldn't. I couldn't pass that math test. I took it the other day to 25 people, and they didn't even, only 2 of them could pass it. Standardized test. When a student goes on to the next grade, that's your bit. Return education back to educators and let them do their job. And the superintendent should be out there doing 2 things. Getting more money for you and educating people on who's causing these problems. It's just as simple as that. So each one of these 6 groups are important. The PTAs, the whole ball of wax is important. And we're going to give them a number. I'm giving these superintendents a number. And it's up to you guys to determine who you're going to vote for on the Republican ticket. And I think I know. And I hope I know. And secondly, on our ticket, there's 4 of us running, but you just better get somebody that's going to go out there and educate people of your problem and organize it, because this is a must to win this campaign. Thank you.